we're going to reserve as much time for audience questions as we can. We're in the last slot of the day. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to this all day, yeah?
Thank you so much for coming out. It's really exciting. It's a huge, great turnout. And I love all the lives and the ravis and the cosplays and stuff. So thank you very much.
Now, I like going backward a bit in people's careers, starting a little bit back in time. You were in a little movie called The Piano that 1 or 2,000 people saw.
I'll correct you. I was a very little part in a movie called The Piano. I was like, you just about can't see me in it. I was 3. The only thing you'll notice, if you go back and watch that film, is I was desperate for the toilet. I needed to pee. And I was 3, and the director and ADs were like, oh no, it's cute, it's funny. Like, she's supposed to be in a school production and she's crossing her legs. So in the movie, like my big moment, my big debut on screen, I'm like staggering around with my legs crossed in what was otherwise a really profound film. So enjoy.
So, the fruits of child abuse.
Exactly. Powerful cinema.
Now, you were in The Lovely Bones. You worked with your fellow countryman Peter Jackson.
Correct.
You were in this movie with Saoirse Ronan, a tremendous actress in her own right. What was that set like? The Jackson troupe, their traveling carnival, as it were, the Jackson Five, as it were. It had already really gotten quite a bit of renown.
What was cool about doing that film was we filmed in Pennsylvania, or a lot of it was filmed in Pennsylvania, and it was the first time that Peter Jackson and the gang had shot outside of New Zealand. So even though they were these big hot shots and they had Lord of the Rings behind them, for everyone there was kind of this very communal feeling like we're all on this adventure on the other side of the world for the first time working. So it was like a really lovely introduction to working in North America, and working with some of my idols, and Stanley Tucci and Susan Sarandon, and so I was very fortunate, and it was really a precious project.
Oh, coming to the States, where I'm from, what was exotic Pennsylvania like for you, and what was most surprising to you?
Deer tick. People were like, watch out, don't go in the park, you're going to get like deer tick. And I was like, what? That's just not a thing. We don't really have deer in New Zealand, so we don't certainly worry about wandering around in long grass. I was like, that's a new thing. That was the first exotic animal I encountered in the United States of America, was the tick. So yeah, it didn't bite me, didn't get me, but I was on hard lookout for that. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Any Pennsylvanians? Yeah! Audubon.
Dialing back a bit further, there are a fair number of, I think there's some younger folks in here that are watching iZombie and having their brains corrupted at a young age. I've seen one of them here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't charge me later for therapy bills, everyone. But
you were in Power Rangers. A lot of Power Rangers fans out there.
Thank you.
People grew up on Power Rangers. What did you grow up on? What were you a fan of? What were you into when you were a kid?
The things that stand out to me, I've seen a few people wearing Friends t-shirts. Friends was like every evening when I got home from school. The Simpsons, Friends, that was like my bread and butter. So I grew up with a lot of that. Seinfeld back in the day. And I was working, when I was little, we worked on Hercules and Xena because they filmed in New Zealand. Thanks, awesome. Have you guys met Lucy yet? Yeah, she's awesome. So I played little Xena in an episode. And those kind of shows, because they filmed in New Zealand, but it was this cool like American TV show, we used to love watching that stuff too. I was big on that.
Now, we've got a microphone out in the audience. We've got some questions from you guys to get to, but I have one more for you.
Yes.
There's this guy, Rob, who
The Thomas.
The Rob Thomas. Mm-hmm. The Rob Thomas.
Hot Rob, we call him.
Oh my. Why do you call him Hot Rob?
Because there's Rob Thomas and Rob Buckley, and Rob Buckley very, very generously gave the nickname Hot Rob to Rob Thomas, just to differentiate between the two.
Now, when you started working on iZombie, Rob was very, very well known. Mm-hmm. Just a few years ago. What was it like working with him? What is he as a person like?
It was cool working out he wasn't the same guy as Matchbox 20. And then getting to work with Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas, as well. He was on the show, so that was novel. Rob Thomas, the showrunner, Hot Rob, is lovely. He's just an incredible boss. He's so creatively liberating. He knows what he wants, like he's got a very strong vision, but you certainly feel like your ideas are valid, and that's not always the case in network television. So I just feel like it's been the best 5 years I could ever ask for, and I can't believe it's our last season.
well looking back on things. When you guys were just about to premiere on the air, you brought the pilot to South by Southwest in my hometown, Austin, Texas, and I asked, what kinds of outlandish stuff are you going to do? Are you going to have maybe her eat a Civil War reenactor brain? And there was this look of recognition among the panel of, there's a bug in our writer's room.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
What were some of your favorite of these persona to take on?
So it's like choosing your favorite kid. It's my worst question, actually, because it's really hard.
I'll rephrase. I'll say there's a favorite in different ways. You know, whether physical challenge, whether particular kind of character that you never get to play.
I loved the hockey goon brain because, yes.
You're very much playing to the crowd.
I may know where I'm based right now, yeah. No, I loved it. I used to do like figure skating when I was a kid, but I had never skated in hockey skates, and it turns out that's very different. I was like, oh, I got this, yeah, and without a pick, it's like a different experience completely, but it was really fun, and lots of jokes that our crew loved, because our crew were all from Vancouver, and I've loved romantic comedy brain, like Hopeless Romantic. That was one of my favorites, and then I'm doing one right now that I don't think Rob's going to harass me afterwards about, like, why did you go tell everybody? We haven't announced it yet, but codependent salsa dancer brain, which is so much fun. It's probably Dungeons and Dragons was up there, but this is like one of my favorite brains I've ever done. So we're in the thick of it right now. Done some good costume tests and things.
Well, let's turn it over to the audience. Let's see who's most enthusiastic. Who wants it the most? It's the end of the day. Everybody's like.
This is like, which is your favorite brain? How do I choose one of these?
Yeah, I think Superman up here in the front.
Yeah, the eyes.
With those incredible contacts. Go ahead and ask him there.
It's a perfect follow-up. What personality would you hope to actually portray that you haven't been able to?
I feel like it would be fun to do. Well, there's another one. I'm going to give away another brain. The one that I wanted to do, I actually got to do, and it was really fun.
Nobody's live streaming this. Nobody's going to put this on Twitter because we're
right.
Cool, right?
Yeah, you're all going to keep this top secret, right?
They're almost done with the show. She
every single one of you.
She can't get fired off the show now, guys.
Yeah. It's caution to the wind now. I'm like, whatever. This is what we're doing. This is how it ends. No, I also did like fitness, like a fitspiration kind of fitness guru brain, which was the one that I had always wanted to do. Kind of bodybuilder, you know, like Instagram fitness person who's like always giving you sort of guilt-inducing advice and like counting your calories and stuff. So there was that brain that I just did last episode, and that had been an idea that I thought would be really funny. And so now I'm fresh out. I'm out of ideas. I honestly am like, what is there left to do? Kind of don't know. Yeah.
Next, let's stay here close for a moment.
What was other personas from the other actors that you like?
I nearly gave away one more, and I won't. I've got to keep wanting something, right? Might as well watch season 5. My favourite, I loved Raoul on heroin addict brain because it was so, I mean, he's intense to work with. Like, I love that guy like a brother, but he takes it seriously. And I sometimes have to remind him, I'm like, this is a comedy show. It's not Train Spotting. You know, what are you, he's prepping for this role like it's, you know, an award-winning piece. But he did such a good job on that, and he gives everything like 150%. Someone said something cool today, like 100 and awesome% or 100. Is that person here? Devastated. They're not even here to correct me, but they're like 100 and extra%. That's what they said, 100 and extra%. I was like, I like that. That's what Raoul is like on set. He's 100 and extra%.
Back in the back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here, he'll bring the mic.
What type of research goes into all these personas? Like, when you do the character and all?
What does your internet search history look like?
After Dominatrix Brain, it got a little weird. I'll be honest, sorry to my younger fans. But it's quite challenging to try to come up in a couple of weeks with a whole character. So the writers do so much of it for me, and there's all these great references they throw out and stuff. So a lot of that is them, but I try to supplement it with, some YouTube is an amazing resource. I have, what else do I do? Right now I'm working with a choreographer and like dance teacher all the time.
Do I have this right that at university you studied psychology and linguistics?
Yes,
That
I am a
has to help.
dropout. So I started studying psychology and
I mean,
linguistics.
I did the same thing with anthropology, so
Yeah,
we're in good
I did a bit of
company.
anthro too. Tried everything, loved
Yeah.
it all, just was zero focus. So I don't recommend it. I do one day want to go back and finish my degree. It's like a big goal. So, but yeah, I feel like people watching, it's great. Conventions are great for it because you meet people from all walks of life here. Like somebody today said they're studying now to be a homicide detective based on the show. And I was like, that's so cool. It's part of what I like about these environments. I think it brings together people with a common interest, but with all these different careers and backgrounds. And so, yeah, the inspiration is sort of everywhere. You never know who I might be drawing from when I meet you today. It might be like, yeah, be studying, sizing you up, thinking about who you are.
Right over here on this, right there with the camera.
Awesome.
A human microphone stand.
Look at this, double tasker. Maybe I want double tasker brain next. I'm like, ooh.
Can you please say RPM getting gear?
Only if the ones who know and love it do it in the audience. Who knows the arm signals? So I guess I can't.
Yeah, well, see.
RPM getting gear. I'm not saying it in an accent, all right? Non-performing monkey.
Just a little further up right there.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I just wanted to know, out of all the characters you've played, if you could have coffee with one of them and ask them any question, what would it be?
Probably. Oh gosh, that's tricky. But probably the romantic comedy brain, the hopeless romantic brain, and just be like, hey, I think mainly it's just an intervention. I feel like I'd sit down and be like, we've got some issues. We need to chat. What's going on? Let's talk about pragmatic behavior and what's realistic in romance. I think I'd be like bad cop, and I'd sit down and have like a serious intervention chat. Yeah. She needs help.
Maybe, yeah, right. Yeah, right here. Yeah, go ahead and chat it.
So,
Ouch. Right?
there was a celebrity that you could have had on the show that you could have then eaten the brains of and kind of taken on their personality and parts.
Yes.
What celebrity would you wish that had been that you could have spoofed?
Oh, a celebrity. So not from our show? From another show?
From any show, any movie, any...
Maybe like Bobby Flay, and to see Liv really up her game in the kitchen. You know, she's impressive now, but I think we could really take that to the hoop. I would go Bobby Flay or LeBron James. Very different types, right? But could be good.
Right up here.
My question is, since you know I'm going back to Montreal, so we're kind of road tripping, and we're looking for songs. So do you have an idea of a road trip song or a song to move, you know, like stay awake?
She's road tripping back to Montreal and needs advice on a road trip song to stay awake.
Have you heard of Ally and AJ? I'm like the biggest Ally and AJ fan. I went to their concert. I was rocking out like I was 16. Everybody was looking at me like, grow up. It's like, no. Ally and AJ, Take Me. That whole album is, all their EP is so good. And a couple of the old classics, Potential Breakup Song, I'd be blasting that. And Broods is another band that I'm a big fan of. They're Kiwis as well, they're friends of mine, and they're so talented. So, Broods, look them up. Hello.
My question is, how was it working on Johnny Papahala when you were younger?
My favourite thing about working on Johnny Kapahala, back on board, in case those of you, it's a Disney Channel film that I was in. I just played
Classic.
the
I can tell from your tone of voice.
Yeah, clearly everybody here has seen it. If you have, you'll know that I'm a dirtboarder, which I didn't know was a thing before it. And it's also, incidentally, the hardest word to say in an American accent. That was the first time I really tripped. I was like, dirtboarder. It's really hard. Anyway, the best part about that was that I was doubled by a 6-foot man for all of my dirtboarding scenes. So I want all of you to go back and watch that, like freeze frame it, go through, and you will see that out of nowhere I turned into a 6-foot man with like a long straw wig that's like just caning it down a hill, because dirtboarding at the time didn't have as many sort of prolific female athletes. So that was a highlight of mine for that film.
Let's see, let's go all the way in the back, against the back wall.
Yes.
Run, you can do it.
What's in your hair?
Oh, it's a brain slug from Futurama. It
Cute! I thought it was a Furby from here. I was like, that's cool.
So one of the things I really like about Robbie is the platonic relationships between Liv and Robbie, and I love that, it's not romantic. Now going into season 5, is there anything else? Does it get romantic yourself?
That is hilarious. That's hilarious. No, we do not ever get romantic. Raoul and I could not have a more platonic relationship if we tried. I adore him. Him and Malcolm are both like brothers to me. They're very, very special friends, and they're family, and like brothers in general, they don't really explore that sort of side of things. So no, that's not this season. Who knows, maybe one day they'll make a cool film or something. We always think like, Veronica Mars did it, come on guys, maybe we can do a movie one day. But no, we're just platonic, and I like that. I think it's something that you don't see celebrated on television and in films that much. And I have guy friends that are like so important for me in my life, and that I wouldn't compromise by risking dating or, it's nice to see that. I think that works well on screen. Thank you.
Just a little further up here. Yeah, there you go.
Going back to Power Rangers, were you familiar with the franchise before you got into it, and what did it feel like suiting up for the first time?
I was familiar with the franchise by name, but actually New Zealand doesn't, well, maybe it's changed now, but when I was growing up, Power Rangers was banned in New Zealand. New Zealand, which is like so chill in every other regard, apparently.
New Zealand just does not abide giant monsters being killed.
Yeah, it was like, hang on a minute, that is marginalisation, we're not going to have it. So, no, we didn't watch it growing up, and I think it was too violent or something for New Zealand television. We're pretty happy. But I knew the brand, and I knew, the figurines, and Mighty Morphin I did know a little bit, so it was just so much fun. Suiting up for the first time is confronting. It's spandex, let's be honest, and you've got craft services, so it's a day, but you get used to it, and luckily...
I think Dr. K would be displeased with you calling it spandex.
Pardon me?
I think Dr. K would be displeased with you calling it
Dr.
spandex.
K would be furious. I will pass it on to her. Still a very good friend of mine, yeah.
Let's see, maybe, right there in the middle. Yep.
I'll check that word.
Theater.
Yes,
From the diaphragm, exactly.
So Liv really likes to cook the brains before she eats them. What way would you like your brain to be cooked?
What's that fancy term when you cook something so much it evaporates into nothing, and it's like any cooks in the room, it's like, an essence of, it's like you really, emulsifying, what's that?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That'll do. I'm not getting any pushback, so we'll try emulsifying. So it's
timidly
reduced.
agreeing.
I would boil it into absolutely nothing, and then use an eyedropper and put one drop on it. It's disgusting. It's not. Let's be honest. I'm not a brain aficionado myself.
Has the taste of your fake brains improved over time?
It has, because I now just they put a mound of them in amongst, and they have to get so many takes because they see that I continuously go for the pasta that's right next to it, or go for something else, and they're like, Rose, there's a camera on you. We know you're not eating that brain. No, you get it. Just check and playback. It's fine. No, I haven't eaten it. So, I just hide it. A lot of hot sauce. I do love hot sauce, so that helps.
Let's see. Well, right here in the front.
What future projects do you want to do? To me, it seems that this is a really challenging role right now. So you probably want something even more challenging. What will that be?
Either that or the opposite. Yeah, I want something easy. I mean, this job is going to be a very hard one to beat for me. I feel like it's kind of, when you're a little kid and you imagine being an actor and what it's going to be like and playing all these different characters, it's the job I get to do that in. I'd like to do theatre. I think that's I've done a bit back in New Zealand before I started working in the States a lot. And I think that's a really, really challenging and different skill set to use, so I'd like to do a bit of that. But some drama, some really heavy drama, but the comedy's been fun. I don't know, any of you writing anything good? I'll be really available in February, so pitch away. Maybe this can turn into a big pitching Q&A. Oh, here we go, I saw some hands go up.
A lot of aspiring screenwriters. Let's see, are you dressed as Judy Hopps? All right, Officer Hopps.
Awesome.
I'm just wondering what it was like coming to Tinkerbell for
Tinkerbell was so much fun. I mean, it's somebody I loved Peter Pan growing up, and so it was cool to be able to reimagine her as some contemporary sort of version that made sense to me. This really stroppy little Kiwi version. But it was exciting. It was really physically taxing. Like that flying is actually, on a harness around a room sort of 4 times the size of this, and there's like rigs everywhere that you have a harness strapped in. And for the first hour, you're like, I'm flying, I'm a bird. And then after like 11, 12 hours, your legs are just completely numb and you're ready to come down. But funnily, I have the same stunt double as Liv that I had as Tinkerbell. It's this amazing girl called Heidi, who's an ex-ballerina, like martial artist. She's just the most badass chick you'll ever meet, and she's so talented. And yeah, she and I saw her last week. I still get to work with her a lot. It's really lovely. Mm-hmm.
Let's see, right there in the white wig, yeah.
Yeah. I get a little nervous seeing these lives sometimes. I'm like, we've still got a season to shoot, and I worry about my job security. You're convincing.
So now that the series is coming to a close, when you reflect on the past almost 5 seasons, what's one thing you want people to take away from the show?
I hope, how many of you read some of the political overtones in our show? Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff about sort of a divisive community and being able to put yourself in other people's shoes, and what if it were you is a big part of it. And I think right now in the world there's plenty of reasons that people are feeling alienated and separated, and I really hope that it's a show where we are very driven towards integration and people all feeling like their voices are heard. And it can mean there's all sorts of parallels we've drawn in the show, and hopefully it means different things to different people, but that was something I felt very strongly about. And in particular in season 4 we had a lot with the refugee kind of crisis that we thought about, and as much as it's a silly comedy zombie show and I eat brains and it's fun, it's a really fun show, but I think it's been a cool opportunity to touch on some things that I certainly feel very passionate about, and that's what makes me so excited. It's a CW TV show, and I know that had been traditionally sort of a models show. It's all very, very beautiful people all the time, but it's cool that it's like we went into it thinking this is about celebrating the freak that you are too, and like what's weird about you. And I listened to a lot of David Bowie for Liv's prep. Weirdly, it was just like my anthem. Was like a couple of his songs. So I think that like making sure that people feel like whatever makes you weird is not something that you're supposed to try to change and conform, but lean into. So you got a bit of a soliloquy on that, but that's my thoughts.
How about right here next to Dion? Yep.
So, how did you feel when they decided they were going to zombify kind of Robbie? And is that going to take another twist in the new season?
How I felt when they were going to zombify Ravi was threatened, jealous, very insecure. I was like, okay, everybody thinks that I'm a good actor right now, but it's not, it's the writing. And now my cat's out of the bag. But Raul is just like, he's brilliant at it. He's so funny, and he puts in so much work, as I say, 100 and extra %. He's like, really researches everything. There's some absolute treats for you this season. I quite like how they're calling it his monthlies. That's been a real kick for me. I keep kind of reminding him where he's at. But it's awesome. And the more it's diversified the show so much too. It means like there are chances to see different people and different representations playing different brains and characters and stereotypes, and so it's been fun. And Robert Buckley as a teenage girl was another of my personal favourites. It was the role he was born to play. His real magnum opus.
Is it going to take like another twist in the new season?
There are so many twists in the new series. Yeah. It's our finale season. Yeah. There's a lot that you're in for.
Maybe back over on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Hi. So it's a gift to get to play all these characters, and I'm wondering, what is the most challenging character you've had to take on as it?
The one I liked least. That's kind of the easiest to say challenging, because a lot of them are physically challenging or there's a lot of research or whatever. But the one that I didn't like playing was the like Archie Bunker kind of brain. It was hard, even though I think it served the story, and it was. I don't like playing the villain in this show. I'm used to Liv as the person who I understand and I empathize with. And even though they gave him a reason to be the way he was, it certainly wasn't the same like coming to work every day and loving getting into this character's shoes. So it's a different kind of challenge when you're working sort of 14-hour days every day and you're playing something that you find an unappealing character to get into. Gave me mad respect for villains. That's true.
Maybe back over on the other side with is that a scar across your face? Yeah.
What's been your favorite season of
It's hard because season 1 has such a special place in my heart because we were finding it and everything was new all the time. But then I do think that the tone that season 4 took, I was really excited about the balance of the comedy and these serialized elements. So it wasn't just case of the week each week, it was more about like where this whole pending zombie apocalypse is headed. I like that part of it. So season 1 and 4. 2 and 3 are good too though. I like them. If you haven't watched them, I still want you to watch them. Don't fast forward, please.
Let's see. They keep pointing at this guy right over here.
Point.
Yeah, I had it for like forever. I love my favorite brains is when you were on like Real Housewife brains.
That's right. I forget them. How many have there been now? It's like 50 something, I think.
My question is, what was like playing that kind of character when Liv Morris on Real Housewife brains?
What was cool about the Real Housewife brain was we actually had one of the actors in that episode. His mother was a Real Housewife of Vancouver. Did you even know that's a show? Real Housewives of Vancouver. I hadn't seen it. I was like starstruck. I was like, this is a Real Housewife. And she came in and she had a chat to me. So that was awesome. She was very manicured. That's what I would say. I felt like an absolute like slob next to her. I just felt like I needed to get my nails painted and all these things. But she was really lovely, and it was cool. It was nice to meet somebody who can be characterized in a very particular way, and to still know that they're a great person, and they present themselves in such a different way. But it was fun. It was a high maintenance episode. Yeah, not how I live my own life at all.
Down here, all the way to the very front.
From any of the roles you've played, do you have a favorite or perhaps weirdest merchandise that you've seen?
Weirdest merchandise.
Wow, that's a question I've never had. What is the weirdest merchandise of myself?
Were there any Lovely Bones action figures? Or?
There should be, actually. No, I saw
Action Sister.
Action Sister, yeah, she was quite in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty. I'll watch that. I'll buy that little figure. No one else will. I just recently saw a little Lego Liv, and I hadn't seen a Lego Liv before, and I don't know if it was like custom made, but it looked like you turn her head around, you take the wig off, click the wig off, and then turn her head around and she's in rage mode, and you click it back on. That was so cool. And then the person who came, it was in London actually, and the person who had also built a morgue, and it was an exact replica in Lego of our morgue. So we had Ravi and we had the bone saw and everything. It was so imaginative. And I've got to say that for anybody who's given me the pieces you've made or who's drawn, I have so much respect for the creativity in the fandom that we have. It's like phenomenal. Just today somebody gave me like a piece that was a photograph of Liv, and each little, it was like pigmented, and each pigment square was each pixel was a Power Rangers photo of me that had made into like a big, sorry, it's so hard to explain that, but I would love to know how that's been translated actually. That's a hard one. the pixelated version of Liv. Yeah, so there's just gifts like that blow my mind, and thank you for the work you put in, because I do see it and I appreciate it.
So here on this side, let's go clear over there. Yep.
Liv makes so many different types of brains. What was your favorite one to make?
It's actually confession time. Liv doesn't make the brains. A brilliant chef called Juno, who we work with every episode, that is our prop chef, and he is the one who's becoming a master at. It's like tricking a baby into eating vegetables, tricking me into eating grains. They like hide the peas underneath things, So Juno cooks these really good ones. He made this like chili. It was like kind of like a tom yum soup one year. That was so good. And yeah, I got through the brain part of it, but afterwards I was like, can we pick that brain out and I'll take home those leftovers? They're so good. So, the tom yum soup, delish.
Back over here in the purple shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I have a question about the movie, the Netflix movie.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas Prince. One, did you expect it to be like as crazy popular as it was? And just weirdly asking, will there be a sequel?
Could there be a sequel to the Christmas Prince?
Could there be a sequel to the Christmas Prince? Well, I have great news for you. The sequel to A Christmas Prince is coming out this year. Yep. So everybody get your eggnog ready for the drinking games and your jigsaw puzzles, because I think it is a perfect jigsaw puzzling film. We filmed it this year in Romania. It is a real treat. I had no idea it was going to be such a hit. I had no idea. I mean, I watch like holiday films because I find them like good comfort food, around the holiday season when you don't feel like taxing your brain too much. But yeah, it was a definite surprise hit and it was so much fun. I love those people that I work with and the audience has been hilarious. I love all the live tweeting and the details. There are some amazing details to look out for in this year's one too. So look forward to seeing you guys on social media. Wonder if 54 people will watch this.
Is Liv finally gonna get a happy ending? Because like all of her boyfriends have died or she's
Liv's had a pretty hard trot, hasn't she? I look at it, I'm like, man. I started saying to Rob Thomas, stop writing me boyfriends because it's a dead sentence. We all know that. Major and Liv getting together in the end. I mean, I want it to happen, but how's things going to go for Rob, for Major, It's not exactly got a great track record. But I think, I hope she gets her version of a happy ending. I think that her version of a happy ending has changed. It used to be she wanted to be cured and be exactly who she was back in the day. And thankfully, she came to realize she was really boring back in the day. And she has learned so much about herself and found so much purpose through her trials and tribulations. And again, I hope that's what we all think. These things that feel like the hardest life experiences to go through can potentially make you the best versions of yourself. So I don't know exactly what her happy ending is yet. And I'm excited to grill Rob Thomas and find out.
So you don't know the very ending of the show?
I don't know the ending of the show yet. No, we're filming episode 3 right now, so they've got some time to tell me.
Mm-hmm. Or they knew you were going to a convention and they were like, that.
Exactly. Well, she's already told a few of the brains that were totally locked down, so let's keep her quiet.
So how about we go, is that Bombshell's Wonder Woman? Yeah.
Cool.
Kia ora, first of all.
Yeah, kia ora. Get to bed with.
Who's your
Favorite
favorite Kiwi to work with?
Kiwi to work with?
Oh, it'll be a scandal in all the New Zealand papers.
Well, I mean, I gotta say Lucy Lawless because she's here, right? Pretty good. Another of my favorite, I did a show with one of my best friends, was Taika Waititi, who directed Thor and all sorts.
If you love Thor Ragnarok and you haven't seen Eagle vs. Shark, it is one of Taika's movies that everybody should see, and I feel like still nobody has seen it.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen Super City, which is a TV show he made that
Yeah.
I did back in the day, that was with another really good friend of ours, Madeline Sami, and she's like, do you know Summer Heights High at all?
Yeah.
We consider it New Zealand's equivalent. She's this incredible character actress who I cannot believe is not like world famous. She's brilliant. So Taika and Mads, they're two of my, and Jermaine. Jermaine, he's great too. Who knows Flight of the Conchords? I like working with him. Yep.
Over here. The guy wearing sunglasses indoors because I've got to know.
Because his future is so bright. He's got to keep on those shades.
When you're on Brain,
Mhm.
usually it starts off with relating to the character with a tangent, where you're spontaneous and you get into it. So I want to know how much of that is script and how much you're allowed to just have freedom to get into the character.
We work exactly to script. Probably like 3 times a season, there'll be a line in the script that's not scripted. And that's normally Rahul, because he's very good and very funny at improv. And we always have to give exactly what's written, and then occasionally he'll be allowed to play jazz on it. But I get freedom in just the exploration of the character, because it's really the first time we don't have a rehearsal process. I work on my own at night to like try to prep and research, and then I get on set, and it's the first time I'm trying to bring this character to life. So for example, the Fitzbo sort of brain that I just did was like this many different versions of that Fitzbo person. Is it the big tough guy who's like, on his protein shakes, or is it like the girl who's in like the yoga? There's just nuance to it all that we sort of play with in that first day. and it's kind of a roll of the dice each time, and you can't get too attached to anything because I work with an amazing producer, director, Dan Etheridge on set, and he's kind of my like compass, I would say. He's my true north, who's like, no, you've got something else in there, you've got something else in there. So it'll be bounce ideas back and forth off each other, and sort of, thankfully it's worked so far enough, I hope. But it's always kind of scary and exciting. It's a bit of a rush.
It's right there in the black robe of some sort.
So the initial audition process, what was that like? Because I'm assuming they made you play a bunch of different characters.
What's funny is the audition process, they'd written a pilot, and in the pilot all that happens is I take on this Romanian call girl's brain. But we didn't really know how extensive that would go throughout the season. So they thankfully didn't think to test me on that, and I mean, that would have been horrendous. I think about it now. If we had known what I was auditioning for, they would have put me through so many hoops. So thankfully they were all kind of catching their tails and like trying to work it out as they went too. But the audition process, it was really funny because I know a lot of the Veronica Mars gang, and Rob Thomas had rung up my friend Chris Lowell being like, hey, what's she like to work with? And I had rung up Chris Lowell being like, what's Rob like to work with? And he's like, you two are both sizing each other up, or like, wary about what you might be signing up for. And he's like, you're both good people. And yeah, we just connected really well. I think I was like the last person who came in to audition for Liv. So I guess when he cast Veronica Mars, Kristen Bell was the first person who came in to audition. And when they cast iZombie, they cast and couldn't find anybody, and I was the last person who came in. So it happened. I was shooting that film. Do you know Petals on the Wind? Any of the fans of Petals on the Wind here? Sort of obscure ballet sort of thing, which was a lot of fun. But I was in the middle of playing this like very earnest, dramatic, sort of heartbroken ballerina, and then got the Liv like screen test in the middle of that. So I was going straight from one thing to like the other after work, and I ended up wrapping that on a Friday night at midnight and flying through the night and starting work on iZombie the next morning. So that pilot was absolute chaos, and we all hit it off, and it worked out. Thank goodness. I can't imagine if it didn't.
We've got just a few minutes left. I think we got time for a couple more. Who really wants it? Who knows that the question is go? Oh, well, she's doing a dance.
Oh, we got a dancer.
We got a dancer dancing in a chair.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
So I have two questions. Is there any chance that the CW will do a spin-off to iZombie?
Mm-hmm.
And the second question is, what's up with mother and girl?
Liv's family, right? Where'd they go? They're back. You will see them again. I promise you that. And it's a really cool way that they've been written back in. The hard thing is when you have it's boring technical behind the scenes stuff is when you have 6 series regulars on a show, the writers write to those, and there's so much story that they just don't actually, if they want to do enough about Peyton and Ravi, and if they want to do enough about this and that fitting Liv's family, and it became a story thing of just, it took the whole story in a tangent that they couldn't really afford within the hour of television. So unfortunately that didn't get pursued as much as it could have, but they do come back in season 5. If there was a spin-off iZombie show, I mean, it's got to be Ravi and Clive, right? Like, I mean, they've been trying to elbow me out for the last couple of seasons anyway. They're getting all these character storylines now. They're playing all these brains, doing all this stuff. I'm like, okay, guys, I get it. So maybe they'll do the equivalent of the Ryan Hansen sort of spin-off stuff. I'll limit them to a web series. They're not doing a full-on network TV series without me. No thanks.
Okay, you jumped up out of your chair. I gotta get it to you.
Do you think that they'll ever come out with an iZombie cookbook?
Do you know, 2 amazing fans have made me these iZombie cookbooks, and I've got them at home, and they are so good that I can't believe Warner Brothers hasn't like bought it and released it themselves. They're so clever. There should be, right? Maybe I'll see what I can do to petition to get the beautiful books that I have released. It would be so cool. Yeah.
I've got one little thing to wrap us up. You've seen a lot of fans today, throughout the weekend, and so on. You've done a number of these conventions. Have you had any particular interactions? Every one of you guys that do these have very touching interactions with fans. People talking about how your show got them through something difficult. Any of those in particular that jump out at you, and that are part of the reason that you keep doing these?
Yeah. I mean, we operate in such a vortex when we're shooting. It's like us. It's our world. It's our crew and our cast, and we don't really get to connect with the people who are watching. So for me, part of why I love coming to these is hearing exactly what you say, how it's like actually impacted somebody, or you know, there's a few people who've told me that they are going in to study to be like morgue technicians, and for me, like, we have a morgue consultant that I work with who I respect so much. She has the darkest sense of humour you've ever come across, because you have to.
The back half of season 5 is all her.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to, like, you know, it's such a brave and noble profession to me to take on working with the deceased. It's like a very essential, obviously, and respected part of our community that gets overlooked so much. So that's actually something that really touches me when people think, you know, that they care enough about the work that we do to have been inspired by that. And also knowing that people who've been able to connect with family members or gone through illnesses, and it really gets me when I talk about it, but thinking about, like, yeah, people who, their teenage daughter, they've really struggled to connect with for a long time, and this has been something that they share and they understand together. So there are things like that every time I hear them, I just think, how lucky am I to be able to even be part of somebody else's story? And thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
Let's blow the roof off. Just talk about it. How about it?